Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Allison Weiss, and I'm the Associate Director of Corporate and Executive Education at the Brown School of Professional Studies. For those of you who have not heard of us or haven't gotten to engage with us in the past, the vision of the Brown School of Professional Studies is to empower you, the professional learner, with the resources, networks, and skills that you need to transform the way the world works for good. And that's a mission I am so passionate about because we increasingly see that the way that the world works now does not, in fact, work for the vast majority of people. Every year, Gallup does an annual survey of employees to ask how they're doing. And every year, almost 70% of US workers report being not engaged at work. And that's a really horrifying number because that means that over 70% of people are not being productive, creative, and pushed, but also because we also have seen studies that show that people who are not engaged at work have lower mental and emotional health outcomes as a result too, because being disengaged doesn't feel good. And so I'm really grateful for each of you showing up today because you, just by showing up today, are raising your hand and saying that you want to help lead the future of work in a way that actually works for everyone. So today we're going to be talking about the Generative AI workshop and what you can expect from that program. I'm really eager to make sure that this information session is helpful to you. So if you have a question at any time, you don't need to wait until the end. Please click on the bottom bar of Zoom, click on Q&A, and type and submit your questions there. And I'm happy to take your questions whenever you have it. And I'll also be asking a few questions for you too. So first, just a really, really brief intro to the School of Professional Studies. As I mentioned, our vision is to help you transform the way the world works for good. And we do that through a portfolio of different offerings. And our goal is that at any stage in your career, regardless of your needs, that we can be your lifelong learning partner. So we offer 33 master's degree programs, including our top-ranked EMBA, Masters of Healthcare Leadership, and Masters of Technology Leadership program in residential, hybrid, and fully online programs. We offer custom programs for organizations. So if you hear something you really like today and you're thinking, oh my gosh, my whole team needs to know this, we're happy to come to you or bring you to campus to help you and your team learn an entire curriculum just for you. And then lastly, we offer over 30 non-credit programs, including this workshop. So that's the category that today's info session falls in. And we cluster the majority of our non-credit programs under leadership, data and technology, which this one's one of the data and technology courses, and mindfulness. So that just gives you a little bit of a sense of the scope of what we can offer. And so first, I want to root us in why AI fluency matters so much, regardless of what level you are in your job, what functional area you serve, or what type of role you have, whether it's in corporate, government, or nonprofit. And so I'm going to share what the data says, but I'd also actually really love to hear from you too. This is one of my favorite parts of info sessions is hearing your why. So as I share what the data shows, can you please click on your bottom bar of Zoom, click on chat, and type and submit just a couple of words about your why. Why are you interested in learning about AI? And that will help me to kind of tailor the rest of this information session to your needs. So please put into chat your why. And as I wait for you to type in and submit your why, let me tell you a little bit about what the data says. The data paints a pretty compelling picture. According to PwC, AI's market potential is estimated to be between $1 to $2 trillion by 2030. There's really nothing else out there that's comparable to that. This is one of the fastest growing areas, and I think it's because it affects absolutely everything. There's not a single role or department or type of company that this doesn't impact. In addition, the Boston Consulting Group has found that 58% of employees say that they save at least 5 hours per week by using generative AI tools. So there is a huge potential to gain efficiency by using these tools really well. Deloitte has found that 54% of employees believe AI helped them to be more creative. And that's actually one of my favorite stats because there is not really a comparable technology tool in our past that can be said to make you more creative. Typically, when we see technology disruptions, they help us to do our work more efficiently or more accurately, but it's very rare that they also help us with the idea generation as well. So that's one of the ways in which I think Gen AI is really changing the game. And then lastly, 71% of executives say that they prefer hiring candidates with AI skills. And the reason why I like to show this up front is because you've come here with different whys, and I'm about to click on the chat to see what your whys are. But typically, people come to make a difference where they currently are or to make a difference in their own career, in their career prospects. And so if you're here because you want to make a difference, or you're here because you want to increase your chances in your careers, this hopefully shows that you're in the right place either way. And so at this point, I do want to take just a minute to read out some of your whys. Thank you all so much for submitting them. So I see that some of the whys are the world is changing and I need to understand the new rules for navigating it all. Absolutely. I use ChatGPT to answer questions I encounter at work. Totally. I know sometimes I feel like ChatGPT is my best coworker, my best friend. To refresh my knowledge and learn something new to skill up, to increase productivity and also an expanded creative process. Awesome. To spend more time coaching my team and growing my skills versus tedious work that AI can do beautifully, more face time than screen time. I think that's a great point that AI cannot and should not replace, people's skills, but it can help take other things off your plate so that you're able to focus on that. For use with teaching graduate students to keep up with new technologies. There are new AI tools for combing through data to find trends and problems. There's a current need to integrate AI into our daily work. Absolutely. I want to learn how AI can improve me in my current role and share it with my department. It's the future and I want to keep up with it. I feel really strongly about that too. I know one of my favorite parts about helping to oversee these programs is that I also get to learn from them. So I absolutely hear you. Thank you for sharing your why. I also think it's really interesting. There's this huge gap. So you've explained your why, and I've shown you what the data shows, but we're finding that organizations are not using it very well yet. Only 26% of organizations have developed the capabilities to move beyond pilot projects and derive value, and only 22% feel that their organizations are prepared to source or train talent to adopt AI efficiently. So we know why you're here. We know what the potential is for the tool, but we also know that there's a big gap and that most people don't know how to use it yet, and that most companies are not prepared to teach you how to use it. And so that's where this program comes in and actually where our entire portfolio comes in. So I'm going to do a deep dive into the generative AI workshop, but I also wanted to just briefly highlight some of our other learning opportunities in the AI portfolio, especially because a couple of things I saw in your comments, I think may align really well with additional learning opportunities. So our first program that we offer is our AI Business and Leadership program. This is actually taught by the same faculty member who will teach our generative AI workshop. So if you come to the workshop and you love it and you love him and you want to continue to learn from him, this would be my recommendation of how to continue learning. It is a class that is focused on business strategy and outcomes. So you're going to learn how to evaluate AI frameworks, how to create KPIs to measure your success. You're going to complete a capstone project to apply it at work. Our second program is our Applied AI and Data Science program. And I think of this as like the tech one because the other programs that we have, there's no requirements or prereqs that you already have a certain level of technology fluency. You come to these programs to gain it. Applied AI and Data Science is the only one where you'll actually be in the data coding. So if you're here as a technology person and you're like, how do I use this technology even better to get better outcomes and to be able to model better, then this is the program for you. And then our third and last program, other than the one we'll be talking about this whole info session, is our effective and ethical AI. And in particular, the person who mentioned that your why is because you want to outsource the tech skills and make sure you're using your human skills. I think you might particularly like this one. This program is about the human side of AI. So this effective and ethical AI looks at your human and technology resources holistically and it asks the question of like, how could human and AI work together really collaboratively and share intelligence back and forth? And how do you as a leader distribute work properly to humans versus technology? And then lastly is the one you're all here to talk about, and I'm going to go into a lot more detail, which is our actual workshop on generative AI. So I just wanted to give you kind of a map of where you could go next if you love what you learn here and want to continue your learning journey with us. So who is the program, the Generative AI Workshop for? We had three kind of target audiences in mind. The first target audience is managers and leaders. So you are here with your hat on of how do I make better decisions and drive competitive advantage via AI for my whole team, my whole department, my whole organization. Secondly, you may be an individual contributor, and I heard this a lot in your whys, where you know that this technology is coming, and so you want to become as efficient and as fluent in it as possible. And then thirdly, it's for you. Just by showing up today and expressing interest, that shows me that you are the right person for this program, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. The program one of the secret sauces of our program, I really believe, is our faculty lead, Ryan McManus. He is absolutely incredible. He has been at the cutting edge of AI technology for the last 15 years. So he's been doing it a lot longer than it has been kind of like mainstream, exciting, and like crucial, I guess. He's the founder of Tectonic because he talks about how this is a technological tectonic shift. And he advises major corporations, governments, and startups on business strategy and innovation. He is also on the board of basically everything, including Empower and NACD of New York. He also founded Accenture's digital transformation practice. He's really accomplished author. One of the things that really struck me when I started working with him was when I was just doing some of my own background research on AI and I was just kind of Googling it. His name came up over and over and over again because he's really written some of the leading articles in publications like Harvard Business Review, et cetera, about how to incorporate AI and other emerging technologies into your strategy. He has an MBA from the University of Chicago, has experience in over 50 countries, and in 2023, he was recognized as one of the top 100 most influential corporate directors. So he's incredible. And what I love about his teaching style, two things I would say. Like, number one is that he's so up to date. Like, there are so many times where he and I will get on the Zoom 15 minutes before the session starts, and he's changing things on the slides because he's like, I just went to this conference, or I just went to this webinar, or I just read this new article, and I want to make sure this is as up to date as possible. And then secondly, what I love about his teaching style is he is so focused on making sure what he teaches you is highly applied. So something I think both he and I have felt about other trainings out there is that they can stay really theoretical or they can stay really basic. They can kind of just show you ChatGPT and move on. And Ryan is not interested in that. He is laser focused on making sure that you're going to walk away knowing what to do with it. And especially in this Gen AI workshop, it's short, it's only an hour and a half. And what he wanted to make sure was that you had tangible use cases that you walked away feeling prepared, confident, and excited to use. So like I said, this program is only an hour and a half. It's really short. It's on April 17th. It's meant to be a taste to see if you like what the programs can offer. And it is meant to give you immediate value. The tuition is $4.99 and it is live during that time. So you would want to make sure that you're available from 12 to 1:30 Eastern time on April 17th to join us. And you're going to learn kind of three things in this hour and a half. The first is that we'll focus on generative AI opportunities and strategic integration. So you're going to gain a clear and actionable understanding of generative AI principles, capabilities, and applications to enable you to identify strategic opportunities for its integration within either your organization, your team, a project, something tangible that's within your sphere of influence. Secondly, you're going to gain hands-on AI tool experience. So during the workshop, there are going to be several opportunities where you're going to go out into breakout rooms and you're actually going to pull up an AI tool of choice. Suggested ChatGPT, but it could be anything if you're using something else that you're more comfortable with, where you'll actually become proficient in using leading generative AI tools to create custom solutions and automate workflows. You'll drive efficiency across market analysis, finance, strategy, and HR by streamlining tasks and processes. So exactly what you said, Jillian, about taking the automated work off your plate, or rather automating the routine work to take it off your plate so that you can focus on the human work. And then lastly, You're going to be able to gain hands-on experience in rapidly building AI agents tailored to your specific needs. And like I said, it was really important to him that this is really hands-on. So these are the three things you'll learn. And this is how you're going to learn it, is that you're going to learn by doing. So he has a couple of different practices. You're going to learn AI-powered analysis. So you're going to summarize financials and extract key insights and analyze tone in different pieces. You'll learn competitive intelligence by identifying trends and market positioning with AI. You'll be able to create graphics, reports, and strategy roadmaps through visual and strategic AI tools. And you'll use AI for performance reviews, team feedback, and goal setting. So especially if you are someone who's at Brown University right now, we are going through a performance review process. And so that might be your most immediately applicable way to use the tools that you learned in this program. And then lastly, he's going to help you put it all together. So you're going to do all of these small exercises, and then he'll help you go through an end-to-end use case. And this is what you will earn. So by going through this program, you will earn a certificate of completion from Brown University, and it looks like this. This is a virtual certificate that you get and you can print. And then the bottom left corner of the screen that has the badge, that is a digital badge that you'll also be issued that you can add to your LinkedIn profile or anywhere else that you're active online. So it's really nice that you also get a credential for attending this program. And you don't have to take my word for it. I do love this program. I've sat in on it a couple of times, and I love Ryan. I learn from him every time. But you don't have to take my word for it. These are 2 testimonials that we got from just the last workshop we ran. The first says the session was engaging and informative, giving practical insights into how generative AI can be leveraged across industries. And the second says the workshop was incredibly insightful. Ryan McManus did a fantastic job illustrating real-world applications of AI, making the session both practical and engaging. I walked away with a much clearer understanding of how to integrate AI into my workflow. So I hope you'll join us. I hope you're as excited about it as I am. I really love this program, and I hope that comes through because I'm so passionate about this, and I think it's so clear that AI is transforming the way we do absolutely everything, but I think there's a real gap in the education out there in teaching how to actually use it in a really tangible, really practical way, and I think this workshop really fills that gap. So I hope you'll choose to join us. We do have limited seats available, and we fill it on a first come, first serve basis. And if you choose to join us, all you do is complete this short enrollment form. We'll send this out to you afterwards. You do not have to, memorize this URL. And then you're in. There's no, resumes or letters of rec or CVs or anything, transcripts, nothing like that. You just fill out a form and you're in. So at this point, I'll stop sharing my screen, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have. So please put in your questions by clicking on the bottom bar of Zoom, clicking on Q&A, and typing and submitting your questions there. I would love to answer any questions that you have. Okay, the first question I see is, will there be any pre-work? Which is a good question. There is no pre-work except for if you do not already have an account to a generative AI tool of your choice. So it could be ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, any of those. Then you should sign up for one beforehand because you're going to be doing these hands-on activities. You do not need to use a paid version though. So only pre-work is just making sure that when you open one of those accounts, you're able to use it right away. Next question is, will this address how it can be used in an educational setting? Thank you. It's a good question. None of the case studies are specific to the classroom, but you do learn things like prompt engineering, the underlying skills that I think are universal. It's designed to be as universal as possible, but it is true that the case studies are looking at this primarily from the perspective of someone like working in an organization, which is why we selected case studies in things like finance, marketing, and HR to kind of cover a wide breadth, but not necessarily looking at teaching specifically. So I think you should decide for yourself whether learning those underlying skills is transferable enough for you where you're like, yes, that's going to work for me. I'm going to be able to use it right away. Or if you're really looking more for like an AI for educators workshop. And if that's the case, I don't think this one's going to be the right one for you. For folks who are unavailable on April 17th, when will the next session be offered? Good question. We don't have a date just yet, but I think we're pretty close to having a date. Typically, we like to line it up with his other course because we see them as like really nice complements to one another. And so because his other course starts in June, it will end in July. So I think our next workshop will likely be in July as well. And we will announce it. So if you've expressed interest in the program at any point, well, you did by signing up for this info session, then we'll send an email out announcing the date once we have it. Next question, please remind me of this workshop date. Yes, it is April 17th, which is a Thursday from 12 to 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. I have a question for all of you. I'm always curious, especially when our offerings are on the newer side, which of course this one is because generative AI has only been out for a bit. If you could put into chat just the word yes or no to answer the question, like, do you think you'll join us? Does this program feel like the right fit for you? I'm always curious to see if we've hit the mark. So please let me know by clicking on the bottom bar of Zoom and clicking on chat and just letting me know, do you think you'll join us? Yes or no? I see a yes. I see July would probably be better for you. Totally get it. Yes, dates matter. Yes, depending on dates. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your why. And thank you also for sharing your interest. I'm really excited to see that we've gotten some yeses in the chat because I really do think when you come to a program like this that's live, you learn a lot from the faculty. Of course, that's why we selected Ryan so carefully, why I'm so glad he said yes to us. But you also learn a lot from one another as well. And so I'm really happy to see that this is looking like it's going to be a robust group of people who will be there from a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different levels of experience. So I don't actually have any other questions in the Q&A. So let me just do a final call. Like if you have a question you were thinking about asking, but you weren't sure, or if you're in the middle of typing, I'm going to give you just a couple more moments to submit a question by clicking on the bottom bar of Zoom, clicking on Q&A, and typing and submitting your questions there. But if there are none, then I'll let y'all go after this. So I'll just give everyone like one more moment in case you're thinking about sending something. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know how busy everyone is, so I'm appreciative that you found the time. And I really look forward to hopefully seeing you in our virtual classroom on April 17th. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.